Hello and welcome to Headlines with Delicia, and I am Delicia. I think one of the worst thing as a woman should be telling a man how to be a man. Like, isn't that bring out some masculinity in you while you should be resting easy in your feminine energy? You can't teach a man how to be a man because you teaching a man how to be a man means you need to step out of your feminine energy so that you can teach him to be a man. Well, this is what we're going to learn about today because this lady here, she's having an issue with regard to her husband as she feels like he does not know how to lead his family. All right, now let's get into the story. My husband and I met in 2021 and Lobola paid in 2022. We stayed together until December 2023. We just got married this past November. I'm confused. Candy, Lobola is not marriage. Okay. And already questioning what the future looks like with my new husband. My husband doesn't know how to lead this family rather, or doesn't want to lead it. Oh, or does not want to. Huh. For context, he's Zulu and Ambedi. Hey, mwanyana Ambedi batho. Hey! I go to a ZCC church and his family goes to a Roma. I say his family because he's never once gone to that church while with me or even spoken about it. You know this thing of saying it's like I say that my family, okay, rather, it's like saying that just because my family or my mother is a Christian, therefore I'm a Christian. No, don't say that. As long as you don't have any identity or relationship with God, please don't identify with yourself. Don't associate yourself with that because you know nothing about that. You don't go to any church, please. But before we go any further, I'm very much, I don't know, like, how do I identify this feeling? What's the word? Okay. The fact that she says that the husband does not know how to lead the family or doesn't want to. Now, that's very huge. How did she get to a point where she even thinks that this man doesn't want to? I think knowing how to lead a family, that's fair enough. But getting to a point where you say he does not want to, ah, that gets to a point where we question his whole masculinity, which is possible. There are men out there who are so lazy that they don't want to play their role. I believe anything is possible. So I trust and believe that it's possible that he does not want to lead. He does not want to step into position of being a man. He will rather let the wife do all the things that he should be doing. One of them could be being a provider. In this case, it's about leading. Being a provider, a protector, a builder. Remember this other day I once mentioned that a man's nature is to protect, build, lead, and provide. So in this case, this man does not know how to lead, nor even want to. So if you don't lead as a man, how do you expect your woman to submit to you? Because here's a thing: as a man, you submit to God, right? So that God can teach you how to lead your woman, and your woman submit to you. So if there is no that order, how is this household gonna stand? I don't know what you believe in, but I believe in God. I believe God is the head, then the husband, the wife, the kids. So the men submit to God, and then the woman submit to the man. There's no way that a man will be able to lead you if he doesn't know God. because God is the one that leads him, and therefore you'll be able to lead you. So it's very disappointing when a man doesn't play his role. It's very, very disappointing. And I like the fact that she emphasized the church thing, because God is there, God does play a role in our lives, in marriage. We need God. We just cannot ignore that fact. But each to their own, there are different dynamics to each relationship out there. But in this case, in this regard, and also in my belief, I believe in that. Okay, let's continue. His mother said I should consider leaving my church to join theirs at our wedding. Okay. And this caught me off guard, especially since this was not her call, but my husband's and mine. If anything, whenever we have encountered problems in our lives, we go to my church for answers and overall direction. How? That's why it's important before you get married to someone, one of the important topics you need to discuss is about religion. Besides the finances, the type of marriage you want to have, how many kids you want, health, you need to discuss religion. Where do you stand? Are you spiritually compatible as well? Because the mother is wrong to ask her to change the church, to join where she goes. She needs to understand that just because as a mother she goes to this church doesn't automatically make the son, which is the husband, that he goes to that church. No, he doesn't. He's not a member in that church. He doesn't identify with any church out there. So please, let's not interfere in people's businesses. So until he says that I identify with this church, I go to this church, then there will be a direction. So this husband is just, I feel where she's coming from. Hey, I feel it. And also this thing of them going to her church when they're having problems. Okay, all right. Let's continue. When we were home, I asked him what direction our family was taking spiritually. How? Why am I saying everything that she's saying? And I didn't read the story. That's a very important question, because as a family, you need to know where you are headed spiritually. Remember, life starts spiritually before it manifests into the physical world. So, where are you standing spiritually? My husband didn't have an answer. Maybe he doesn't even know. Like, think about it. He doesn't go to church. Maybe he prays there and there, when he's in trouble, those kinds. Yeah, man, this is a very, very important topic. I always cover different topics, but today's topic, wow, wow, wow. Today's story, it's like, wow. All he said was, I must do what I want, and you. I'm conflicted. Let's read that again. All he said was, I must do what I want, and he would tell his family that the Makoti doesn't want to leave her church to join the family's church. How? But this is the very same church he himself doesn't even attend. Exactly. Why do you want me to go where you don't even go? Come on. Man, I hate this thing that just because in my family goes to this church, but I don't go, then I want to identify with, like, no, you don't go to that church. You don't. A relationship with God, it's not something that goes like, when God calls you, you'll be called automatically. The people connected to you, they'll be called. It doesn't work like that. Each will have to have their own relationship with God. If you don't pray, you don't pray. Just because your mother prays for you doesn't mean God has you like, yeah, like, come on, like, no, man, like, this woman is very disappointed, and it's heartening when a woman knows enough about marriage and then she's in a marriage with a man who doesn't even understand that. Oh my God, how do you go back from this? Is it safe to divorce? Because, and you can tell that this woman wants to submit, provide her with a platform to submit into, which is what this man, it's not some, it's like a man asking a woman to cook for her. Be like, you don't cook for me, blah blah blah, you never cook for me, blah. But if you check, there's not even a kitchen, there's no house, therefore there's no a kitchen. Where do you expect her to cook for you? Make it make sense. This is what is happening. And you can tell that he doesn't even care. He's so ignorant. He's so ignorant. Man, this guy. My husband is the quiet type, and when I raise my views that are different from his, he says I always want to have the last word. This man is not it. He's afraid of having serious and sometimes uncomfortable conversation, and that's not real life. Yeah, yeah, I can clearly imagine this type. Very ignorant. They think that if you don't discuss a certain matter, therefore it will just resolve itself, it will never be a matter in your life. No, I love this lady's level of maturity. Like, I love it. I love it. In life, we have to sit down and have serious conversation. We need to talk about these uncomfortable issues, the uncomfortable truth, we need to talk about those. It's life happens, and it's so important to have God at the center of your relationship or marriage at that. Because without God, what are we, Man, I don't wish this on anyone. I think this man just needs an ignorant woman. Not this one. This woman is very wise. Is very wise, and she trusted him with being a leader, with being a man. She trusted him, but now she's failing him. I mean, he's failing her. I don't know, man. I don't know. Can you really teach a man to lead? Like, can you really teach a man to be a man? I mean, this is a very disturbing thing because everything comes with age. It needs to be engraved in you as you grow up. How do you suddenly, let's say you are 27, 28, 35, 30, suddenly, can you suddenly learn these things? Like, I'm so concerned. Do you learn these things, or like, what is what? How do I get this man to talk and lead as a husband? Because when conversation gets serious, he walks out to smoke and doesn't say anything else. How do I make him understand that he's a husband now and has to make decisions for his own family? Wow, like this is like today's story is very, very insightful. It's very rich. And for anyone who wants to get married out there, this is one of the things you need to consider before getting married. Talk about your religion, your spirituality. If you're already married, you can share with us how do you stand in this. It will have worked out if he married a woman who's not so spiritual or rather religious. It was gonna work and it was not gonna be an issue. But the issue is that there's a conflict of interest here. And sometimes, not sometimes, there are other people out there who are married where the husband doesn't go to church, but the woman does go. She has that relationship with God. But the reason why it's not an issue is because I assume they're able to talk things out. Sometimes having a relationship with God, that it does not necessarily mean that you go to church every Sunday. I might not go to church, but I might be praying 3 times a day, reading my Bible, praise and worshiping Him. But the issue here is that the husband even ignores serious conversation, which is true. He needs to take he needs to make some decision for his own family. A woman can have uh, uh, um a woman cannot be the one who's taking decision for the family. It's like she will be disrespecting the husband. And I know people might work on this thing, or a whole of a Zulu man and a whole of a Bedi woman, but here it is, it's happening. Everything is possible out there. But I must say that this kind of things, that the topic of a woman teaching a man to be a man, I hate it. I hate it. I feel like it just makes a woman to lose her femininity. It's so ugly. You need to be a lady. You can't. If it gets to a point where I need to teach you to be a man, let's just leave it. I just cannot teach you how to be a man. It just don't make sense. Let's just leave it all together. There's a man out there who will be knowing what he does, what he's doing, and I'll play my role as well as a woman. Not me having to step into being a woman and then I have to step into a man as I'll be teaching you. No, let's just leave it, honestly. Let's just leave it. So please let me know in the comment section what you think about this. Also, do share with other people. They might be having a very, very educational knowledge that they would like to share, and we'll together learn and grow, and avoid making the same mistake as other people. I enjoyed today's video. Like, I really enjoyed today's story so much. Very, very insightful, very, very educational, and very informative, and a good reminder as to what qualities you need to look for in a husband, not a boyfriend, a husband. Today we're talking about husbands here, okay? Until then, y'all stay blessed and may the good Lord shine his face upon you.